Welcome to the App Advisory Show, your fortnightly dose of all things cloud accounting, apps, and app advisory.
Hi folks, welcome to episode 3 of the App Advisory Show. So my name's Matt Flanagan. I work for a business called Abacus, and we help accountants get the most of cloud accounting and the associated ecosystem. Now, in this episode, I'm delighted to have Rachael Prideaux of Figured Fairy, who's a Xero Award winner. So thanks a lot for giving us some time, Rachael, this week.
You're very welcome. It's nice to be invited along.
Well, this is the perks of being the Xero Award winner, you know. Now you've got your name in lights, people will be interested in your story and how you've got to where you're at. So we'll be going into some of like how you've really grown your firm from where you started, and a little bit around the Xero Awards and how you found that, which we were both at, which seems like a million moons ago now. That it was only a couple of months ago, but it seems like years ago now. So just to get us kicked off, Rachael, it'd be really good to know a little bit about you, where you came from before you were Figured Fairy, and just a little bit about you and your history.
Okay, so I've been in the industry for about 20 years now. Prior to Figured Fairy, I worked for a local firm in the town. Before that, I'd worked for some smaller accounting practices, a lot of them quite old school. So the last firm that I was at were quite heavily cloud invested, and they really opened my eyes into this new way of accounting. I was there for 6 years. I was director in the end, but we had a niche really of clients where we had a minimum fee. And for me, I'm quite on the personal side of things. I really want to look after the client. The client is the centre of everything that I do and I believe in. And I was worried about the small little clients, you know, the painter, the decorator, the electrician, and they seemed to fall by the wayside because they were too small for us. We wouldn't deal with them. So I sort of thought, well, these clients are being sort of left behind. So there's a little bit of a gap in my local area. So I thought, okay, I want to set up on my own. I can have my own little niche of smaller clients, and I can do things my way, because I think we all love being part of a team, but we all have our own ideas of the way we want things to go. So for me, the children have grown up, they're teenagers now, so they don't need babysitting anymore. So that gave me a bit of freedom, if you like, to sort of focus on me, my business, and build the firm that I wanted for me and my family.
Okay, so it's a bit of personal sort of crusade to help those people who weren't in the demographic of what you're looking for in your firm as it was then, and also a bit of freedom on your own point to maybe try these things, right?
Absolutely, yeah. Hitting 40 was a bit of a eye-opener, and it was like, crikey, you know, do I want to do what I'm doing now for the rest of my life, or do I want to make a change and make things different? So took the ball by the horns, and haven't looked back since. So yeah, really good decision.
Okay, and so how long has Figured Fairy been going now?
So 2017 was when we started.
Right, okay.
And I left my old firm with about 3 clients, I think. So I've grown organically quite quickly. I didn't want to take on a member of staff really early on or buy clients because I've seen in the past accountants over offer things, oversell things and not deliver it. I didn't want to be one of them. I wanted to grow very slowly. I wanted to get my systems in place. I wanted my staff in place so that I wasn't letting clients down. That's a real bugbear of mine. I don't like letting people down. So I decided, you know, very early on from the early stages to get everything sort of underpinned first, look at my systems, my software, then staff, and then go out and market to clients. Even to today, I don't really advertise. I'm very lucky that a lot of my clients are word of mouth, a little bit of Facebook advertising, or just really promoting myself a little bit on Facebook, not paid advertising. So everything's happened quite quickly. Didn't really plan it. I just thought, well, I'll just wing it and see what happens. But it was very important for me to get the underlying systems in place and the tech in place first.
Right, okay. And in your experience, had you been using all sorts of different platforms beforehand? Were you a bit of Excel and a bit of desktop software? And then did you sort of come across with a vision that you're just going to use cloud? Xero is primarily your tool of choice, but was that definite part of your decision when you were going to go on your own?
Yeah, absolutely. So early days, it was Excel, spreadsheets, even, TBs and paper records going right back. But as I've moved through different firms, I've seen a lot of Sage, QuickBooks, Free Agent, Xero. And in my old firm, we were heavily invested in Xero, and going to XeroCon and just getting an understanding of the whole family culture of Xero, their whole way of just doing business, doing beautiful business. I love it. So yeah, it was a no-brainer for me. It would definitely be Xero. I don't only take Xero clients on. I've got 2 Free Agent clients and a couple of QuickBooks ones. But if somebody come to me and said I need to go onto some software, what would you recommend? It's always Xero because I know it so well.
Yeah.
It's an easy sell for me because I know how good it is, how well it works, and how it connects with so many other apps. Then yeah, it was an easy decision to make to be Xero from day one.
So if your old firm was Xero as well, I bet you've seen it sort of really evolve Xero from what it was early days to what it is now in terms of a piece of software, but also as a business.
Yeah, so I think 2011 might have been the first time that we started using it, which was very early days. And back then I remember, we were all enthusiastic about it. Yeah, let's just roll Xero out to everybody. And I remember going out to one of my first clients to try and do some training and not really experienced it enough myself. That was quite tricky. And because, we didn't have all of the Xero training videos that we've got now and the whole library in Xero Central, back then it was a bit of a learning curve, shall we say. But obviously as Xero's grown and they've got the online courses that you do, or the certification and the regular webinar updates, then it's so much easier now to keep to grips with, because they're changing it so frequently. They're always making improvements. Obviously you've got to keep up to date with it. So yeah, early days it was quite difficult, and it was almost, not many people had heard of it. What's Xero? Whereas now it's, it's on the TV, it's on the tube, that everybody knows about it now. So yeah, it feels like I've been on the journey for quite a while.
Well, there you are. Yeah, that's nearly 10 years now, so that's quite a while. So you made this sort of this leap into sort of managing your own destiny and going where you want to go with the clients that you want to serve, etc. And was that daunting, or were you quite excited, or was it nervous? Like how are you feeling those first? So I think lots of people will be thinking, I want to do something on my own, and I'm just intrigued to see that when you've made the leap, what was the process over those 3 months? Like, what was the feelings there then?
A whole roller coaster of emotions. So there's the whole, imposter syndrome, which I still get now, and can I do it? Am I good enough? There was the excitement of creating something that I wanted, that I could mold. I didn't have to run it past anybody else. It was my idea. So with that, it's exciting, but also everything falls on your shoulders. So it's very scary and daunting at the same time. But, like I said earlier, I got to 40 and I just thought, I'm not happy doing what I'm doing. I know I can make a difference. I know I can do something different my way. If it goes tits up, I'll get a job. And that was my thought, So I'm a grafter. I don't care what I'm doing as long as I'm busy. I had a lot of encouragement from my family, and I know quite a lot of people. So yeah, I just went for it. So early days, it was very lonely. There's a lot of late nights looking at tech and, how am I going to cope with this? How do I deal with that? And when you've been somewhere for such a long time and everything just works, to actually go right back to the drawing board, sit at the kitchen table, literally with pen and paper, and try and draw out what you want this business to look like. But yeah, very, very exciting, but yeah, whole wave of emotions, whole wave.
Well, that's good. I think people will be intrigued to know what happens when you actually make the leap. It's hard enough. It's funny that you're saying that about if it goes tits up, I'll do something else. That was exactly my view, because I was employed till I was about 35, and then I was like, do you know what? If I don't get this right, I'm surely still just about young enough to get a job, and that's what I felt really. Was I'll just give it a few years, and if it's not working, I'll do something else. Like you say, I'm not that precious either about what I do, as long as I'm keeping busy and and helping somebody, really, I think is the main thing. So yeah, it's interesting that you've gone that route. Okay, so now pretty much you're primarily Xero. You've got a few other cloud vendors knocking around, QuickBooks, Free Agent, things like that. And has that build up been like primarily word of mouth and just really a good network in your local area that you've managed to build that up by?
Yeah, definitely word of mouth. I mean, I don't have a network of, look, I've got one financial advisor that I speak to, but honestly, the work that I've got has been through word of mouth, mates of mates. A lot of my clients are also new businesses. So I found that really useful when they first came to me. You know, I've just set up my new business and I'm there getting all excited for them, getting butterflies again, because I remember working out my logo, my website, what software am I going to use. So because all that was quite raw to me still, and I'd been through all those pain points and all those learning curves, it was great to still have that enthusiasm that I could then gift to my clients, because, you know, I could advise them on, yeah, use this bank, they set it up in 5 minutes, it's brilliant, to what software to use, what logo designers. So yeah, a lot of my clients are very similar to me, and I think that works really well, and that's why they then refer me to their mates, because, you know, we get on well. I'm not a typical, you know, briefcase and suit kind of person. I am down to earth. I don't mind, you know, people contacting me, text, email, WhatsApp, whatever it might be. And I think that's the way that you have to go these days. So no, because I am so readily available, I think that has helped me win more clients.
And in terms of, so your client attraction has been pretty good by the sounds of it, or you're more than happy with it. What's been the thing on sort of employing people when you want to get everything right for your clients and get your service right and get your internal workflows going and all of that? When was the point where you thought about staff, and have you thought about staff, and where are you with that at the moment?
Yeah, so I wanted to get all my systems in place first before I had any staff, because obviously early days I made some system notes, but things always need tweaking and changing. And a lot of what I do is still in my head and I just know the process. So I thought, I can't bring someone else in and teach them from what's in my head. I want a system, because if I teach them the system, they can just crack on. So that was the plan. I don't think I got somebody in as early enough as I would have liked. And then it took me a while to find the right person.
Yeah.
This was back in August. Unfortunately, I didn't make the right decision. She was only with me for a couple of months. So because I just knew it wasn't going to work, I had to let go of her quite soon. I was going on a big holiday to America for a few weeks. So I thought, I need to get shot before I go on holiday. So I did that, and of course then it was busy season back in November, and I thought, I can't recruit now. It's not fair. It's not fair on me. I don't have the time to train somebody, and it wouldn't be time fair on the employee, because I don't have the time that I need to invest in them. And I've seen and experienced in the past that you've got to hold their hand, you've got to look after them and love them and bed them in. You can't just expect them to get in and crack on with it. So I went through November, December, January on my own. You know, did quite a few crazy hours, but you know, that was okay. It was better than the alternative of trying to train somebody and then have to check everything. So then fast forward to February, I started looking, and somebody who I was working with already anyway in a bookkeeping capacity for another client, we sort of got chatting, and she wanted to do more in the firm she was in. I needed somebody, although she wasn't accounts trained, it's mainly that and bookkeeping. Because I know her and I know she would ask for help if she was stuck. For me, it was her personality and her nature attracted me to her. I could teach her what she didn't know. I couldn't teach her to look after clients or love her job. You know, that's got to come naturally. And she had that within her. So yeah, she's been on board since March, the 9th of March, funnily enough. So too late for furlough, which has been a bit tricky because we've both got vulnerable parents, and I've got a small office in my back garden. Sort of panicked very early stages of COVID-19. She had to go and work from home immediately. And lucky, because I'm cloud-based, that was quite straightforward. It's had a few challenges, mainly being the training, but she's back in the office 1 day a week, which has helped massively. but now I've got her in, the systems are coming together, and soon I'm hoping to then start promoting to getting bigger clients.
Yeah, yeah. I think the whole training remotely is difficult with staff, clients. You know, I think we'll get there, but I do think it's difficult. And when you're trying to onboard a new member of staff, we took somebody on in February, and it hasn't gone as quickly as it could have, because we were reliant on, we'll just do it there's 5 of us in this office, and we'll get around and help him out as he comes on. But that just hasn't happened. So we had to put something a lot more structured, which actually has been better. But we definitely had like a 3-4 week lag when we're like, this isn't really working. There's something wrong here. And it's not the employee. It's just how we've set it up, that we took the office for granted a little bit, and that sort of physical getting together regularly.
It is just those regular questions, isn't it? Oh, can you just do this? Can you just do that? But when they're not there for you to show them, you just crack on and do it yourself. And then that's what I was doing initially. And then I'm thinking, well, this is just crazy, because I'm not benefiting from this. She's not learning anything else. So let's wait till we get back together in-house. And even if it's 1 day a week, we'll just cram that training into that day.
Yeah.
And then we can discuss, you know, where she is and how she's feeling and the rest of it. And then the next week, pick up again to see, you know, what she's learned and where the gaps are. Yeah.
Yeah. So the challenge has been staff as well for you, it sounds like. I mean, we've employed and not made the right decision. It's difficult, and it's not just the sort of taking them out of the equation, that person. It's also all the lead up to bringing them in. You know, all the finding them, interviewing, take them through that. Then you bring them in, it doesn't work. It's like it's a big project to lose time on if you don't get it right.
Yeah, it absolutely is, but it's so worth the investment, isn't it? Because
yes.
You know, in previous firms, when we've picked the wrong person, literally because we are desperate, and actually it's not anyone will do. You're better off waiting and trying to manage the capacity with existing staff than going for the wrong member, because, you know, we've done that before. They've sort of been left to just get on with stuff, and that's just been disastrous. It's just it's not good.
Yeah, no, it's not. I agree. Okay, so question for you now is, in terms of cloud and apps and tech, what are you using within your firm? Like, what's your sort of go-to set of tech that if I came tomorrow and said you can only have these and that's all you've got forever, what are you going to go with? What's your go-to set of tech?
Oh, okay. So tax calc, because I needed compliance software obviously from the beginning. So that was the first piece of software, and obviously with Xero. Then Receipt Bank was quite soon after that, I think. I obviously dealt with them in other firms. Actually, no, Auto Entry before that, because that suited my pricing better. Because I had fewer clients, it was cheaper for me to use Auto Entry. Okay. Whereas now I'm automating even the sole traders. I'm just using Receipt Bank in-house. It was a cheaper option to go, because although I'm not passing that cost on to the client, efficiency-wise, I'm just putting as much through Receipt Bank as I can, which has actually been a godsend because of obviously COVID-19, where clients can't come to the office and drop staff off. I'm like, well, that's fine. Download the app and you can take the photos yourself. So that's really helped. Another biggie for me was Go Proposal. Right. I started using them probably 18 months ago now. And it was somebody at XeroCon that said to me, even if you don't use the software, just join the community. Because their Facebook community is just, it's absolutely amazing. And me being on my own, I haven't got that person to just run something by or query this or how did you cope with that. And I'm used to having that network, and I really need that, because sometimes on your own, it can be a lonely place. Yeah. So Go Proposal has been amazing for that. The people that are in that group, and they're all sorts. They're tiny one-man bands to huge companies, and somebody's always got a bit of advice, So, we put a hand down and help the people that are on the journey before us, and put a hand up to the people that, have already been there, done that, so they can save you time by giving you the best advice. Other apps I use, so Centre, just recently, I used Accountancy Manager, which was great, and I loved the task view of that, which was really helpful. Because I love lists. I write lists just to cross things off. I'm a real listy person. But that doesn't sync to Go Proposal. I'm hearing now that it might do, but I've just moved to Centre and spent the last couple of weekends setting up a lot of the email templates.
Yeah.
So obviously I've just got a new member of staff. So as I'm tweaking all of those, in a minute when I invite her into centre, a lot of the emails are templated so that she doesn't have to sit there worrying about how to word this, how to word that. It's all done. So the benefits of this, hopefully, in the next few months are just going to be amazing. Inform Direct I use, so that's for my confirmation statement filing, board meeting minutes, dividend vouchers and things like that. It's a really cool piece of software, quite cheap. That's probably it at the minute.
So you got a good set there, and it's interesting that you spent a lot of time. It's interesting what you said about Centre, actually, that you spent a lot of time, last couple of weekends getting stuff in place, using the templates, getting the most out of the automations and the efficiencies you can get out of any system. Takes a bit of investment up front to get those things in place, but for your person who comes on board now, they're just plugging into something rather than having to think too much. And obviously it's the tone as well of the emails, right? So that you can play the tone because it's your firm. A new person can't understand the tone that you've got with your clients from the off.
No, that's it. And because we do pride ourselves on offering that personal service, I've got to get that right. Yes, I love automation, but I don't want to speak to the client like they're a robot. That's not what we're about, so we have to tweak things, and even if it's a cheers or have a cracking weekend, or I know they might have had a gin in their hot tub or whatever, just because I know the clients, it's just putting those little bits in the email so they know that we thought about that before we sent it. We haven't just sat here and clicked a button.
Yes, yeah. Well, whoever's got an hot tub at the minute is doing very well, because you can't get them for love nor money on anywhere at the moment. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, you can't find them anywhere.
That's where all the grant money's going, I think.
I think you could be right. Okay, we'll finish off with the Xero Awards because that's a good part. But in terms of tech that you use personally, what are you? What's some tech that you like to use personally?
So, well, Zoom's been a bit of a crossover, really. So for Zoom, I've only just started using that because of the whole COVID-19, but we've done a few catch up with the girls over a Zoom, which has been nice. Had a drink, which is very good to see my friends' faces. I don't have a lot of spare time, if I'm honest, but I like to run. So running is my headspace, my thinking time. So I use Garmin a lot, and that will track my runs, tell me how far I've run, how fast or slow I've run. And it maps all the routes, which, is lovely. I was out on the coast running yesterday, and in Cornwall, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
And a bit of TikTok, with the kids.
Oh, right, you're doing that. I haven't succumbed to that yet. I've watched a few videos, but it's not took me yet. But it looks
it will.
Yeah, I'm sure I'll get around to it at some point. Okay, so also Xero Awards this year, and I think it's really interesting the process that you went through, and also the event we went to, which is really good. So just understanding why you went for them and what the process was like in terms of the Xero Awards. I know you did in previous years as well, so I've been just let us know how that went.
So Xero for me is just amazing. As I've said, XeroCon, the parties, the people, I meet a lot of contacts there. So I love Xero, and obviously they do the awards every year. So I applied the year before last for Sole Practitioner, got to the final stage, which was great. Never ever imagined that. And someone always said to me, you're never going to win if you don't take part. And yeah, you're right. Okay, I'll have a try. Obviously, we're shortlisted. So that was amazing. And then I thought, well, actually, if I'm a finalist, can I go one better? The practice has obviously improved a lot in the last 12 months. I'm automating a whole lot more. I've took on a lot of new software. Let's just go for it, because to be part of Xero, little old me, with big firms, we're all one family. It doesn't matter your background, your practice size. You're all Xero fans, So I applied again. It was quite last minute. It was whilst I was on my holiday in America, actually.
America, right, okay.
Of course, with the time difference, it was a bit of a last minute panic. So I did my application, thought no more of it, then realised I was shortlisted at XeroCon. So again, incredibly proud to have got that far. Checked out the competition and just thought, no, it's finalist again, but that's still amazing. Got invited to the awards night, because obviously they had a separate dinner this year, which was lovely. It was quite a small event, but a lot of the people I know, familiar faces. and to win, to hear my name called out was just absolutely amazing. I took my husband along because he hears me bang on about Xero all the time. He doesn't really get it. So he come along to experience a Xero party, which he loved. And then, yeah, got announced as the winner. So absolutely incredible. And even now talking about it, you know, the excitement, the goosebumps are coming back. So it was amazing to be in a room with so many inspirational people, and even to, you know, to share my thanks with them on the night, because if I didn't have that network of people, I wouldn't have had the confidence to put my application in, and let alone, you know, to win it. So yeah, the winning was absolutely amazing. But like you say, that's only a couple of months ago, but so much has happened since then. So I still look at my award that I've got here and think, wow, what a night, what an achievement.
Yeah.
But hopefully after all this awful situation dies down, I can do something with that going forward, you know, a bit of promotion or something. But
yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of very few who's won a Xero Award. So it's out of the thousands of partners they've got. So it is a great achievement. And yeah, it was a good night, and it does seem years ago, unfortunately. But yeah, you should definitely be using that in the once all this settles down to your benefit. But I'm sure there'll be people interested once this all settles down in hearing a lot more about you. Well, that brings us to the end, really. So thanks a lot for your time, Rachel. And you've been very generous with some of your insights into what you've done with your firm and how you've been feeling, and the roller coaster, and what you've been using, how you've been investing your time, and at what points triggered different things. So thank you very much for that. That's been much appreciated. So to those of you watching or listening to this, that rounds us up for this episode. You'll be able to find this on all the podcast stations, and on the YouTube channel, and in the Facebook group, and any other social media we can get it on, it will be there. And also, if you do see Rachel knocking around virtually, probably now for the next few months, say hello and say how much you enjoy, because I think you mentioned earlier about being inspired by people. I think that, you know, there'll be people who are maybe where you were 4 or 5 years ago and thinking, well, actually I'd like to do that, and you might inspire them to do something similar. So like you say,
I'm happy to help them. You know, if they want to reach out, by all means, you know, get in touch with me, because I know how lonely it can be. And, you know, so many people supported me that's just invaluable. So yeah, if anybody wants to reach out, I'm happy to chat anytime.
Yeah, it was interesting analogy about the hand up and the hand down. So where you are on the journey. So I thought that was a really good point. So yeah, so we'll end it there. Thank you very much, Rachel, for your time, and I will catch you again soon.
Thank you very much. Thank you.